I've been here for so long. You know, to me, they are the best owners for many reasons. You know, I wanted to literally retire after the game with Monaco, but you know, I have my counters. If you look at every game where I played more than 15 minutes, my stats are astronomical. And if you look at every game where I played more than 20 minutes, I'm MVP of the league. Just kidding, but even game one, a fan yelled at me at Panathinaikos. He said, McKissic. And I thought he was about to start killing me. I didn't look back, and he said, have a great night. A profession that would make me happy is poker.
Oh.
Καλησπέρα. Είμαστε εδώ με τον Shaquielle McKissic για να κάνουμε μια συνέντευξη για το κανάλι των Πενταράδων στον Καούτσο. Τον ευχαριστούμε πολύ που είναι μαζί μας. Thank you, Shaq.
So, Shaq, thank you for being with us.
Of course.
I will start from the finals. From being out of the foreign players rotation in the game one of the finals to becoming the X factor and scoring 20 points in the last one. How do you do this?
I mean, me personally, I always believe in myself firstly, or mainly, you know, in life, everything doesn't tend to go your way, and you may become frustrated or angry about things that you don't have control over. But that's for every working person at any job. I'm just lucky enough to be an athlete and play basketball. So, you know, it's a weird thing about life that these second opportunities always come around. No matter what, it's always been a theme of my life. No matter how bad things are going, it's just always something for you to prove yourself. It's just about being ready for the moment. And I was more than ready.
You have traditionally performed well against Panathinaikos. Many believe that you transform when you face them. Do you think that it's just confidence? What's your answer?
I mean, when you play a team so many times, of course, there's a lot of opportunities, especially over the years being one of Coach's main guys. But for me, it's hard to explain because I've played against a lot of different combinations from that team. So I think it's just the energy. Like, I love it. Like, I love going and playing in Waka when the climate is so thick and everybody's so tight, because it makes it easier for me to perform. And, of course, the home games, knowing that the crowd is there and everybody's around us, it gives me extra motivation and energy. And it's a big moment, and I love these type of moments.
You have 9 trophies with Olympiacos. Does this year's championship mean something different for you? It's the best, maybe?
I think so in a way, for me personally. Just as we talked about going from out of the rotation to coming in and winning 3 straight games in such a heavy, you know, climate, you know, with the owners and the teams and everybody in the country having to suspend the games and stuff like that. Everybody was watching, you know, so it was one of the biggest, you know, championships in recent history as far as, you know, like viewership, what was on the line, 100 years Olympiacos. So for me, it was the most important.
Until game one in the finals, Olympiacos looked lost mentally, you know, and emotionally after the Final Four. What changed? What happened in the locker room?
That's a good question. I think our backs were just against the wall, and we knew in order for the season to not be a failure by not winning the EuroLeague championship, it was good to come away with the Greek championship, especially against a team like Panathinaikos. If it would have been a different team or, you know, in a different country, in a different situation, maybe this season would have been a complete failure. But for what this derby means to the world, you know, we had to, you know, get tough. And it was a huge opportunity. I don't even think anybody expected it, but deep down we knew that we were capable of that.
Did the words and the behavior of Dimitris Giannakopoulos play a role in the final result?
For me, no, because I had my own demons that I was fighting, you know, just trying to get on the pitch and prove that I'm still a formidable player, you know, because so when he said these things and made everybody, you know, very toxic and so much tension, you have to do what you have to do sometimes, and that's what he felt he had to do to maybe get his players going and his players motivated. And it's easy to say, oh, it woke us up, but I think after game one loss, you know, we were already woke. Like, even if he wouldn't have done that, we were expecting to win game one. I mean, game two at home now. Games 3, 4, and 5, I don't know. But for sure, it woke some players up. It woke the organization up. It woke our fans up. So I think that's safe to say.
As you said about the organization, do you believe that, first of all, the best answer of this toxicity outside of basketball, it was the image of Juancho being there and saw all these awarded Olympiacos as championship?
Maybe, that's something that he felt he needed to do personally. For guys that have been here for 4, 5, or 6 years, or, like guys like me, Tom, Moose, etc., I think it's different because we've been through so many roller coaster emotions with this team, both sides. So, for him, that was a good gesture. I didn't see it, of course, until on social media, but yeah, well, it stings, we had to sit during the Greek Cup, and, it stings, and you just have to wait and work to get, your revenge and your payback. But to sit there and see somebody else crowd champion, I think that's good for him internally, to process the situation. Would we have done it? I'm not sure. To be honest, I thought that it was required for the losing team to.
Yes.
So
it's not mandatory.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, good for him.
You are here 5.5 years. You know how the things are going. Did you notice a difference in the way the management of Olympiacos approached the things recently? I mean, the speech in the locker room and all of this.
I've been here for so long. To me, they are the best owners for many reasons. They're very transparent. They're very accessible. Their demands are very reasonable. Nobody gets railroaded or thrown under the bus if they're not performing or this, and that. But I think they were put in a very awkward situation after game one because they were kind of provoked. So, they had to send a message to us. And I think we, answered the call for them. And I think that's big for the organization. When you have owners like them that will do anything for their players, personally, if you go to them and ask for something, a favor, everything is taken care of. So, of course, if they become upset, because we aren't performing, that's very fair.
I would like to ask you about Tyler Dorsey. He had a huge impact in the finals, as you. It was a surprise for you.
Me? No, but I mean, me and Dorsey talked every single day for the entire season. So for me, it wasn't a surprise. I mean, Coach has one of the hardest jobs in all of sports to take such a talented team with so many players and decide who he wants to play. Whether we feel like it should be X, Y, and Z, we aren't in that position. So I think Tyler did a good job of understanding that and overcoming that and kind of just putting it away. But I was happy for his success because it's impossible for a player who is not playing good to come and do that when he's just called like this. Because how,
Yeah.
Well, did me and him take some magic potion and we shared it, and for 3 games he was unbelievable, and he wanted to fight. Well, yeah, I mean, I've been here for a long time, so I understand how things may go at times. But for Dorsey, it was very tough. And every shot that he made, every single time I'm out there on the court with him, and I'm just praying, I'm like, I just hope this goes in, just for him, because this is a big opportunity for him. For the next stage of his career, whatever he decides to do, whether he's staying or if he's, departing. I think for him to have a send-off like that, and even me to have a send-off like that, it's huge for our mentality.
Yeah.
I wanted to literally retire after the game with Monaco just because, for various reasons. And then we have this situation where I have the opportunity to play. I don't have to look over my shoulder. The ball's in my hands. And it's just like slicing cake. It's that easy. And for me, it's always that easy. It's not, so complicated. So it was like a rebirth. I was like, okay, I can still play at a real high level. For Dorsey, it's like, okay, I still have my powers, it isn't a fluke so I think that was a very big series for me and him and even Tom, for not playing so long, getting thrown back into the fire. And, we had our conversations after game one, and I was at shoot around, so knowing that I was going to play, and we just went back to, we got to be junkyard dogs. Like, me and him made that decision, like, we're not effing around, and that was the complete mentality, and we locked in, and it just felt like the good old days, being out there and playing beside Tom.
The finals was a rebirth for you?
It depends, because there's so many things that I can say that if I were to say them, maybe it's going to be perceived a certain way on social media, with the coaching staff, with the owners, but it's from my point of view. I'm able to say things and not take them personally, and I'm able to understand if so many people are saying things about me, maybe a little bit of it is true. So you have to take that with a grain of salt. That's a part of growing up. That's a part of being a family. I should be able to do things, and we have conversations about it. We squash it, and it's thrown away. So when people ask me about this and that, oh, you didn't play good for 3 months and this and that, did you watch the games? Did you really watch the games, or are you looking at the stat sheet? It's almost it's really laughable. But I have my counters. If you look at every game where I played more than 15 minutes, my stats are astronomical. And if you look at every game where I played more than 20 minutes, I'm MVP of the league. Just kidding, but I'm just saying. So it's like it's just, it's two sides to every coin.
The statement that you did in Abu Dhabi, it was shocking for all of us. It was something emotionally for you. It was
No, it wasn't. It's something that I was talking to my wife about. Last season, and then I have another year, and then this season, just because for me, I haven't had a off season where I was 100% healthy with my knee. Last year was the first off season. And I was just like, if I'm going to commit to future years, let's say 2 or 3 years, the amount of work that I'm going to have to do during the summer, not see my family, not see my wife, not see my sons and my daughter, it's just like everything isn't about money. Some things, other things in life can make you happy. And that's just the name of the game. And I was just so ready to move on to that next chapter where I have control over my destiny. And that's where I was at that moment. But, I said, I'm considering, and everybody ran with, I'm retiring. I'm a media guy, I know how to get the people going. Yeah. Look at me. Yes.
Coach Bαρτζώκας said that he didn't know this, and you have to do a conversation. What about this conversation?
We had the conversation. For me, I look at things very differently than a lot of people. I don't have ego. I don't hold grudges. I'm not really looking at everything on social media. So it's just so many things that I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what people are thinking about me. Of course, my wife sees it and she wants to respond to everything. She just has a list of notes. She has a scroll and she's every time just trying. Yeah. So on her Twitter, she has a bunch of drafts and she's like, can I say this? And I'm like, absolutely not. Because for me, it's humans are humans, okay? What is popular today will not be popular tomorrow. We just move on. So the meeting with Coach, I just kind of expressed like, hey, like, I said my things from my perspective, and then he told me things from his perspective. And there was a mutual respect of, oh, okay, I learned something, like I didn't know, I didn't understand if that's what you wanted. Now I know. And then after we had that meeting, it was games 3 and 4 because we had the meeting after game 2. It's just a lot of family business that that was discussed, and I'll just leave it at that.
Can you understand all this hard criticism from the social media after a loss, and in the same time, 10 days after this, a huge love about everybody, about the team, about the coach, about everyone? Can you understand this?
I can, briefly and momentarily, but to keep going back and harping on things, after they will have passed, to be honest, it's kind of ridiculous because when you think about it, the guys that have been here since Coach B brought us here, how many happy nights that we've given everybody throughout the course of 5 or 6 years, it's unbelievable. And to equate that to, you go to a situation where it's one game, and of course, nobody wants to lose this game. It's a big game. It's a big deal. But it's just one game. If it was a series, it's a much different story. We lost game 1 to Panathinaikos, and then after that, it was almost like we were unbeatable. So these things happen, It's what guys are everybody looking for? Who are these big-time players that are going to come and play better than Fournier, play better than Sasha, play better than Nico, play better than Moose? I'm waiting for these guys. It's just about sticking together, and maybe over the next 3 years, it's 3 back-to-back EuroLeagues because, something clicks and you figure it out. But criticism for losing at the highest level, going to 4 straight Final Fours, and somehow somebody's not doing their job is ridiculous, to be honest. Especially when it's a game of 40 minutes and everything is going so fast. We aren't playing the same opponent every year in the Final Four. It's somebody new every year. In the playoffs, you look at the teams we beat, these are all top-tier teams every single year. So for me, it's kind of ridiculous. But I learned that the social media is a very small percentage of the rest of Europe and the rest of Greece. And that's why I tend to stay off of it. Just because I can go out here and see some random person and they think the world of me and they're like, stay forever, and and then I get on social media and Shaq can't shoot a pebble in the ocean. It's just guys like this nonstop. But if I replied and we had a debate against anybody and my worth to what I brought to this team, I will absolutely shred them. Or my wife would shred them.
That's for sure. Let's come back to the finals to ask you about Evan. What do you think that have happened in Game 3 in Waka if you hadn't held Fournier so tightly?
This was one of those moments where my body just went into automatic survival. One, because if I don't do that, maybe we have a brawl in a bunch of players, the series is over, we rob everybody of what we're trying to accomplish. That's one. But it was justified that he wanted to do whatever he wanted to do. 2, for me, with this being Evan's first year, in my 5th or 6th season at Olympiacos, and understanding that the Derby is much different climate, I immediately knew. I say, okay, as a veteran of the Derby, sometimes you have to step in and say enough is enough, and that was one of those moments. And that would have just been a nasty stain on his career, here. Like, granted, he got away from me and he did some things even after that. And I'm just like, where's Evan? I hear in the crowd, I'm like, where's Evan? They're kicking advertisement signs, but I didn't know what had happened until after the game. But he had to release, he had to release some way because he didn't get to when I held him. So he had to release his frustration, and it was rightfully so, because that was an amazing, that was a very unbelievable foul,
Did you talk about this afterwards?
With Evan?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. I mean, even in the hallway as I was walking to the tunnel, like, good game. I told him good game because he had an unbelievable third quarter. We get in the locker room, he pulls me to the side and just says, thank you, because I was about to. And I'm like, bro, don't even talk about it. I already know. That's why I'm a vet. But for me, maybe other guys, not on our team, but just in similar situations, they wait for opportunities like this for somebody to throw everything away and then have to be looked at that. For me, no, it's like, I don't care if you're the first guy or the 15th guy on the team. nothing is worth that. No, oh, now it's my turn because he did that, and now look at me. No, it's like,
Yeah, yeah.
nothing is worth this. Like, you know, you can play and express yourself on the court. As he got the chance, he didn't get suspended, and none didn't get suspended, and we got to battle it out in Game 4.
You have protested against racist behavior in Waka from fans sitting in the court sides during games with Panathinaikos, calling it as a zoo. Do you believe Greece isn't ready to handle this?
Me personally, I love it. Like, I love being right there on the brink of chaos, but then everybody gets to go home. The problem is, you know, the line is very blurred. But for me, no, I like this environment is what makes this derby so special. And I've been in many derbies, and I've won some and I lost some. But if you take that away, then maybe what, people feel safer? I don't think anything has happened besides a war of words. I don't think anything has happened that's been so egregious to where we have to say enough with the fans on the court seats. But then again, I feel very respected by both sides. So it was years before where it was like this and I'm hearing things, but now, even Game 1, a fan yelled at me at Panathinaikos. He said, "McKissic." And I thought he was about to start killing me. I didn't look back, and he said, "Have a great night." And I looked back and I said, "Bravo, thank you." I was like, I thought we were past this. Like, you guys doing this to me? We've had so much war, and it's just like the mutual respect when I see the players, when I see the fans on the other side. You know, I'm one of the lucky ones to not have to deal with that. But for guys like Fournier, when it's your first year, of course you have to go through that grind, and you got to build up enough points to be like, okay, this guy is
to say you good night.
Yeah, exactly.
To go to this level.
Until then, they may say something different. I don't know.
As a professional, would you ever consider playing for Panathinaikos?
Absolutely not. Not saying that the opportunity is there. It's just some things that I just couldn't wrap my head around. And maybe I'm saying that because, you know, I'm coming from a point of view of playing for Olympiacos for so many years and just being so in love with the organization and the fans and what it stands for. I think there's just so many other options that I would consider before going there. Yeah. That's just kind of like I want to be able to raise my family here after I retire, and to do that is like, no, my son sings the Olympiacos song, you know, it's like to switch up, it would kind of be insane to me. So I don't think I don't think that's possible.
Did you ever had any proposal to get Greek citizenship?
No, you know, I've actually been looking at the rules just because I just want to get citizenship so my family is able to live here after basketball. But as far as becoming a Greek player to play basketball, no, that was, you know, Thomas got it, and rightfully so. Me and Antetokounmpo out there playing next to each other. I mean, maybe, I don't know. That might be fun when I was 28, 27. But no, that opportunity never came.
I would like to ask you about the Final Fours. You are in all 4 consecutive Final Fours that Olympiacos went these years. Why do you believe you didn't take the trophy?
This season?
Or the whole 4 years?
Just unlucky. Just unlucky. And that's okay. You have to live with that. And for me, I will try to fight until I don't play basketball anymore to win one. But that's the beauty of it, you know, that's a part of everything. A lot of things happen, you know, buzzer beaters and things like that. I don't know how a team can be so unlucky, you know, so, you know, it's just one of those things. I don't know. You can say this and that, if this were different, but
yeah, there are a lot of things.
It's so much, you know.
Yeah,
it's so much.
Okay, let's talk about your relationship with Coach Bαρτζώκας. In Abu Dhabi, you told me that he's like a father figure to you. You have worn shirts with his face. You have supported each other in social media. What makes your relationship so special?
Many years, many games going to war with each other or going to war together. It's just one of those things where, you know, it's just like family. Sometimes families are at odds, sometimes families are talking, sometimes they're not talking. Sometimes, you know, it's Merry Christmas every day, you know. But to be around the person for so many years and to be taking direction and orders and him having very high expectations, you know, it's he loves Olympiacos, you know, I don't know if more than me because he can say that, but I know how much, you know, I love Oli and the fans and the environment. So I think it's just we both stand for the same thing as far as what we want for Olympiacos. Despite any type of, oh, this is happening, why did this happen? At the end of the day, we both want to bring happiness to the fans of Olympiacos. And it's not just me and him, it's, you know, it's Tom, it's Moose, it's, you know, the guys that have been here, Laurie, Pop, you know, those are like my brothers. You know, I've spoken to these guys more than I've spoken to my wife over the years. So it's like to be on flights and airports and everything, you think that we would get tired of each other, but, you know, it's genuine love. You learn to love each other in a different type of way.
Early in the previous year, 2023-2024, there was doubt outside of the team about your readiness, your responsibility level, and all this. Do you want to clarify what really happened during these months?
Well, there was a beautiful article written about me, and I can assure you that didn't happen, but to be honest, not really, just because I don't need to. I'm sure one day that's like at the top of my wife's list for as far as going back and bringing something and clarifying. So I'll leave that to her. So, you know, sometimes things are written and things are said, and it's just like, as a person, you have to be smarter to say, you think that's what happened? You think so? Okay, I'll just leave it at that. And I think when I'm retired, you know, maybe that's something that I would like to address, just because that wasn't an assassination on my character.
Yeah.
It was for you to see me on the pitch and see the way that I play and see my mentality. You think that I went home all summer and was eating bonbons and Twinkies and had my legs kicked up? It's just like the actual pain that I was in and the things psychologically that I had to do and overcome. It was unbelievable. You can't even start to imagine. So for me, it was a very disrespectful narrative, because it was completely inaccurate. And it's just one of those things that I let slide. I let it go. I didn't address it. I'm going out in public and people are saying to me, they're bringing up, hey, why didn't you do, excuse me, but Malik, are you serious? Like, you know, you can't be such a robot to believe everything that, or certain narratives, but okay. You know, all I could do is just focus on getting healthy. And this was the same season, because this was last season where this came out. But it was okay, because I took all of that energy, I took all of that hatred, or, you know, not hatred because that's the wrong word, but I took all that misinformation and I put it in the engine. So when we got to Barcelona in the playoffs, I showed everybody my work. We're playing against Barcelona. We aren't even supposed to be in this situation, let alone beat this team to go to the Final Four. And, you know, I was healthy, and this was the result. So I was sorry to get so long-winded about that, but I've been meaning to address that.
I can understand, because you never said anything about this.
For 2 seasons. Yeah, it was ridiculous, to be honest.
Bαρτζώκας publicly backed you with this viral statement that he has done this time. I will not sell him just because of 2 weeks, or just because of a month, excuse me. You repaid that faith a few weeks later, and all the season to Final Four. Did you talk about this statement after he said this?
I was grateful, and I let him know that I was grateful just because in a time where everybody was killing me,
Yeah.
he kind of shielded me from that. Not kind of, he did shield me from that. And for me, it's always been, both ways. And that's why publicly, I would never, ever say anything bad or negative about Coach. Why? Because this is life. This is how things go. Nobody's ever happy 24/7, both ways. So for me, I appreciated that. And, it's the same way people, I think, bash Coach a lot. And whether it's fair or unfair, he's in the driver's seat. So he gets, he gets the main, when they are killing him, it's always him, it's always him, it's always him. And that's a bit disingenuous, I think. So that's my guy. So regardless of whatever, at the end of the day.
Let's talk about this, about your tough teenage years. If you know, there is also a documentary about this, if I'm not wrong. Okay. 3 months, you were 3 months in a jail for attempting robbery, 2 years probation. You saw your best friend shot dead. Your mother was away, and you stayed in a car for a couple of weeks. Do these moments still in your mind for so many years?
Yes and no. As far as like the further that I get away from it, the more success I have, the less and less I think about it. But for me, it's a very twisted days that I have as far as there being like a monster inside and you having to put him away every single day. And it's just like there's some days where I just want to just explode and use my aggression for the wrong reasons. But I've been able to lock those emotions away. And it's difficult more days than others. But, that's when I have my wife to lean on and, other people in my life to help me out, because I'm a very emotional person as far as if something isn't going my way, I try to bend the wheel to make it go my way. The things that I was doing, those 2 years or 3 years of just nonstop, just every time, every day you wake up, it's some more. It's, life just kicking my ass 24/7. It made me into this creature that I am. So, and it's funny you say that, because this week after the finals ended, I was like, man, I want to continue playing. And I asked my wife if she's okay with it. She was like, okay, she wants to see me play, but that mentality of struggle and how difficult things were, I want that all summer. I want to be disciplined in a new way to where it hurts, as far as working out physically, where I'm just breaking myself physically all summer long just to prepare me for, the next 2 or 3 years that I'm playing basketball. I want to see how far I can push myself, because that's how I grow. I can get in there and rep and do everything, but being in the fourth quarter, just like in games 2, 3, and 4, where it's just like I feel like I'm not tired at all mentally. I was like, I can play, if we go to game 5, I can't wait. And I'm just trying to get back to that mentality. But everything that I went through leading up to this point has prepared me for anything in life. Unfortunately, this is how, the tough ones are created.
Do you think that the love that you received from basketball and Olympiacos also, and all the previous teams that you were, from the fans, filled that missing part of you?
I don't think I have a part missing. I think the legacy that I leave here, just for myself, and let's say for the next 10, 15 years, that I'm able to walk around and people recognize me, for me, that's huge, because that means you've done something great. So, you know, I see certain stats and weird things. The more and more that I play, the more and more I'm climbing up the, you know, the ranks of certain things, and it makes me feel good. But to be honest, just the happiness and the environment of Olympiacos, I think that's my greatest accomplishment, to be loved as much as I am, because I look around and it's only a few of us, and that makes me feel good. That does.
In recent years, you have been close to Nigel Williams-Goss. He's not in the team right now. Do you think that Olympiacos paid the price of a policy that's changed this year? I mean, for the contract renewals.
Yeah. I mean, but potentially, you know, I think Nigel's a hell of a player. I know that he wanted to stay. You know, during the season, I think he wanted to stay, Nico wanted to stay, I wanted to stay. Now we're at the end, and it's just like, you know, he gets to see other contracts, and how can he say no to, you know, that type of money, that type of opportunity to go and play at Zalgiris? How do you turn that down in hopes of, okay, maybe you guys will bring me back? And, you know, for Nico, you know, it's a similar situation, but the team had a policy and they stuck to that policy. And, you know, here we are. You know, I can't speak for them and, you know, the decision that they made to do that. But for me, you know, Nigel's my guy. You know, I can't speak for the club, or, you know, I just know he wanted to come back. I wanted to come back. Nico wanted to come back. So we shall see.
Have you done a conversation with Olympiacos during the season or after the finals for staying here?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but, you know, we can keep that, you know, on ice for now. But, yeah, I did. I mean, of course, I'm just waiting to see what happens. You know, you start to see other things and other interests from other teams, and it's just what to do. You know, this is life. Next question.
It's written also about you and Monaco and Coach Panoulis' team. Did you have any conversation with Coach Panoulis?
Not about going to Monaco, but of course we've had conversations. You know, he probably more than anybody understands, you know, sometimes the situations of just being a basketball player and being frustrated and feeling like, oh, it's everybody else's fault. But no, you know, we had a stern talk, and, you know, what I got from the conversation was sometimes you have to just accept things the way that they are and just keep working. And that's kind of what I did, was just to have that mentality of I'm going to get an opportunity. And if I never play for Olympiacos again, this championship was enough for me to say, no, I'm time and time again, when I was called on to perform, I answered the call. And that's where I'm at. So I didn't mean to get to that point from me and Spanoulis talking, but, you know, as far as like things like in Monaco, I have no idea about that. You know, it was circulated online that I was going to Monaco, and that was news to me. You know, I am a free agent, so we will see what plays out.
I would like also to ask you about Keenan Evans. You were together this year. Coach Bardzoka said that he did really well in the training. What's your opinion about him, about what he can do in the court?
I think I was surprised at how good he was. Like, to be honest, I knew he was good, but I didn't know he was this good. And, you know, we were joking because we're always playing Call of Duty together. So we're in the Discord and talking on the headsets, and one day I'm just like, this was last week before we left, and I was like, yeah, bro, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know you were this good. like just flat out, because it's just like, man, I think Olympiacos is in for a treat next season with him, because he's a hell of a player. He is.
I would like also to ask you about your show. your ΜακΚίσικ show. An active player on a top team being here in Greece with a show like this, it was a fresh concept for all of us. Why didn't this continue?
For me, it might have been too fresh of a concept. You know, social media is just ridiculous, you know, and I guess I was trying to be a part of that ridiculousness by having a show. But I just wanted to do something fun. Keenan wanted to do something fun. You know, we had Bogris there, and it was, you know, Bogrino. And for us, I think we were having the time of our lives, but I don't think Europe's ready for this, to be honest. And, you know, it's just like even in Bogris knows when the final copy was uploaded to YouTube, it's maybe 35 minutes missing from the whole thing just because you can't say this, you can't say that. This person's going to be upset. This person's going to be angry. So I think just the freedom, it's just probably something that, like I said, Europe isn't ready for. Maybe even in America, they're not ready for it as well because, you know, those guys get killed. But I was just trying to have fun, and maybe in the future there's a way to have fun and not talk about basketball, but still be entertaining. Here we are.
Do you like the nickname Shakatak?
Yeah. Yeah, I actually messaged the tennis player. What's her name?
The tennis?
Yes, the tennis player, with also the nickname Shakatak.
Ah, Sakar, yeah, Maria Sakar.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I knew her name was Maria. I didn't want to mess up her last name. But I messaged her and I say, you stole my nickname. I'm Shakatak. And we had a good laugh about it.
On Olympiakos anniversary, you said that you would tell your kids you were part of the team in 100 years. Will you also say that you will be in the team in 101 years?
Yeah, I don't know. Man. I don't know. For me, I think I've proven over the years, even this season, you can say I didn't have a good 3 months, but you look at my stats and they tell a different story no matter what somebody tries to paint with their cute paintbrush. You know, third on the team in scoring after, you know, Evan and Sasha. And then everybody says I'm this, I'm that, or don't put him on the team, or maybe, no, I won't let you guys erase history like that. I'm okay with what I've done here. I'm okay with this previous season. The future I don't know about.
Who was your best teammate at Olympiakos? The one that you were closest to, and the one that you admired most?
Over the years, closest to, I mean, every year is kind of like a new guy it's usually a younger guy that I kind of gravitate towards and try to show them the way. But all time, you know, it would have to be, you know, my guys like Pop, Sasha, Tom, just because, like, we know each other so well. Of course, Laurie as well, just because those are the core guys. And Moose, I can't just pick just one all-time favorite when it's equal, you know. But every year, you know, you had guys like Cannon or Hassan Martin or Keenan or Saban that, you know, that I'm always, they make me laugh. So I like, you know, being around those guys. But as far as like all time, I have to go with Pop. Gotta go with Pop and Nicolau. Just because he was here when Spanoulis was here, then Spanoulis left. He was here when Prentices was here, then Prentices left. And then Slukas left, and he was just, you know, he's one of the last guys still standing. And to see his transformation from the first year that I got here to where he's at now, it really is incredible. It's night and day, just the captain that he's become. So I admire him a lot for his evolution. And I've gotten to see it day by day, you know. So I think he would be, you know, as far as who do I admire is for sure Papa Nicolau.
And the one that you like more as his playing style, as the things that he can do in the court?
Sasha.
Sasha.
Yeah. Always, Sash. It's just like an octopus. The ball just finds him and he just throws it and it just goes in. So yeah, like Sasha is one of maybe my top 2 all-time favorite EuroLeague players.
Thank you, Shaq.
Of course, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for being honest,
Yeah.
first of all.
You have also said that you feel Greece like home in general, you know? I mean, it's a lot of years here. I think your wife also has roots from here, so you adapt to the mentality. Which tradition of Greece do you think you have in the McKissic routine in every day, like the morning coffee and tiropita, or the lunch, Saturday small talks with family?
That's a good.
Bouzoukia, I don't know. You know? We have a lot of traditions, you know.
No, for me, you know, waking up most mornings and going to the beach and just being in the water, this is something I've never done in my life. And then, you know, I go to the beach one morning and I see everybody's there, you know, going in and swimming. And I say, I guess this is normal, you know, but that's something in America that I was never used to or anywhere until I got to Greece. And I was like, wow, family time, being with your kids, going out and doing family events, for me, that's something new, just because with growing up by myself, my mother being a single mother and going to work and just being with my brothers and sisters, that's not something that I'm used to, the entire family going and doing things. So it's something that I'm learning to embrace, you know, just having that one-on-one quality time, going and doing fun things with the family and not feeling like I'm alone by myself or just me and my wife. You know, no, it's okay to have your kids and show them a good time, but you know, that's not something I was used to growing up.
But also, I mean, life, Olympiacos and Glyfada helps you to be close to this, you know, because if you play somewhere else, maybe you don't have this advantage. It's hard to drive like 40 minutes to enjoy the water. Or
that's true also. That's true also. But yeah, okay, I agree. But being in Greece is what makes that possible. Yes. So, and
the quality of life as a player here is totally different to other places you've been, you know? I mean,
of course, some places more than others. Like when I played in Russia, it was very difficult for me just because it's an entirely different culture, but I learned to embrace that too. Like the food there is amazing. When I played in South Korea, it was a completely different menu. And the chef would ask me, what do I want? Everybody's eating kimchi. And I was like, can I just get some
fried chicken or I don't know.
Exactly.
If you go now again, you will ask him for moussaka and he will tell you what the fuck is this.
I asked for wings and, you know, it was, but that's when I learned to completely immerse myself in everybody's culture, because not too many humans get to experience so many different cultures. So I'm truly blessed for that.
I agree totally, and it's a great pass because it's one of the questions I want to do. I had a journey also changing teams. I didn't see so many cultures as you. Usually I was in Spain and in different areas in Greece. How this, you think, built you as a person in general? What I mean, I feel blessed that I went to Spain, learned Spanish, have friends in every city I've been through. My eyes get open, I have different point of view about life, about basketball, about how the fans treat you, how social media treats you, how basketball should be, you know? Because, okay, the environment in Balkan countries that you spend the most of your careers is a little bit toxic, you know this. And how this basketball can let you blossom as a person also. How you think this journey improves Shaq? Because I see to a lot of Americans, the way they think when they jump in Europe than the way they think when they left the Europe is totally different. And how many years you were to Beryl now?
5, 6.
5, 6.
Yeah,
okay.
6.
How that you meet your wife and you are a team to all this journey change all the quality you had? You know, because I was loner in Spain. So how the fact Shaq was alone somewhere, Shaq is with his wife somewhere, and how the things you told me before, Russia was so hard. Looking now back to Russia, probably he gave you something. You know, maybe you meet some Shaq more because you didn't have time to spend, you know?
Of course.
Because in Greece, we have this, that the problems go under the carpet and you continue because you have to go fun, to go to the beach, to party, to do things. In some countries, you don't have this.
Yeah.
So how this affects you, and in general, how was your path as Shaq in this?
For me, I think the biggest thing is the person that I am is just like a huge pot of everything. So many different cultures, religions, peoples, languages that I've been exposed to over the years. So it's hard for me to listen to anyone's opinion on life just because their opinion, I've seen somebody else in a different country with a different religion have a different opinion, and it just goes on and on. So for me, I think the best thing that I've learned for my children, the freedom that they have, the freedom that I give them to learn and be exposed to different environments and to understand what you thought was real today can be a totally different lie tomorrow, and your worlds will change. So I'm able to give them advice from a different point of view and let them know everybody is human. You know, when we're riding in America, we're riding here and we see a homeless person, I roll down the window, give them money, give it to them. You don't know what this person is going through. So you're not bigger than anybody. I'm not bigger than anybody. I'll never forget the first time I went to Russia and I was on the team and I came from the Gran Canaria, a very toxic situation that I created with Twitter and social media. And I was at my lowest point and I was in Russia and I couldn't make a shot in a game to save my life. I was playing with Cody Clark and I just came to the realization during warm-ups, I'm not going to shoot. I rebounded for him every single game. I rebounded for him and let him shoot just to get him to that next level and help the team instead of making it about me. Oh, I'm going to shoot and try to make. I came to the realization, Shaq, for whatever reason, you can't make a fucking shot.
Okay.
And I didn't know why. So I just said, you know what, to help the team right now, I have to rebound for these guys during warm-up. I don't need to be doing any drills in this for what? I'm broken and I'm going to have to find my way. But for now, in this moment, this is what it's going to take to elevate. So I did that. And ironically enough, a game came where we were playing against Kimki and Coach B was the coach. I had the best game and you can't believe how long. I scored like 20 points. I couldn't miss. I was on fire. And that lasting imprint is what Coach always remembered from me, the first impression. The year after I go to Champions League, I destroyed Champions League. He was the first one to come and grab me and say, hey, he can play for me and my style. And that's just how life goes. You know, if I would have been so tight and tense, maybe I'd never have that game. And that was the only game during my entire stint in Russia where I was like, okay.
But you had the quality that for me, everybody think about sports that the talent is to score, you know?
Yeah.
For me, the biggest talent is to adapt and to know the role you have in one team or what you can give to a team.
Of course.
You had, and this is a great talent. I mean, you adapt, you help your teammate, the team succeed, and if you succeed, everybody in the end goes in the bank, you know?
And this is the biggest thing for me. Like when you say I've had to adapt to so many different cultures and blend in from the first, when I played in Italy my first year.
Yeah.
And I found the beauty in my son being born in Pesaro, Italy. And to me, still to this day, I can feel the Christmas vibes and the Christmas scenes just because I immerse myself in it. So when I'm walking to practice and I see a Christmas tree, that still plays in my mind. It's a very vivid, loving memory that I have of Italy. And you take all of these memories from every place and
pizza also, huh?
And yeah, pizza and pasta, of course. So yeah, like you said, like I can adapt to any situation. That's why I have no fear for the future.
And this improves you for sure to have different points of view, as you said in the beginning. Perfect. You tell me about the kids now and what you can give them after these experiences. What do you think is the value, the most important value that you have, and Beryl also, or Beryl, or together or separate, that you want to pass to next generation, to your kid, and to have it as a, you know, as a motto of the life, or to have the respect for this at maximum?
I think we blend so well as parents together because it's kind of like salt or what's the word? Not salt and pepper, but like not hot and spicy, because it's two totally different ways that we look at life, how we parent, how we, you know, how we interact. You know, she's very, if you did me wrong, you're going to pay for it. But being around me for so many years, she'll tell you, she'll be like, you made me soft. Like I turn away from certain situations and I decide not to deal with them. and I'm able to calm down. But on the flip side, she constantly reminds me of my value and constantly reminds me, no, you're that guy. Like, this shouldn't be this way, or you shouldn't be disrespected this way. And, you know, you've done, you know, so much in your life and your career. So she helps me look at life in a certain way to say, you can't just be stepped over 24/7. Like, you have to put your foot down. So I think for our kids, it's going to be the perfect blend. Right now for my son, I see so much of her in him because when he sees us, it's all English. And when he's speaking with his caretaker or other Greeks, it's all Greek. Like, he looks at us like, why you don't know Greek? So, but he will say something in English. And then if I say no, he will look and he will say something to his nanny in Greek, like, tell my father, you know, but I just see my wife in him so much. And I'm just like, wow. But he's also no nonsense. And I allow him space to grow. So I love that aspect that we're very free-flowing parents in the sense that we allow them to mess up and we don't just bring the hammer down. It's just like, no, learn from this. Maybe you mess up again, learn from this, but it's just the experiences that we've both been through.
But this is important for the kid because if she has different points of view, hopefully he will choose the good things of both, and he has a combination really amazing, you know, to be emotional, to be tough also, you know, and this is amazing. Just to know where to use every part because, you know, as you've been through in the past, you know that sometimes we use the wrong emotion, the wrong moment, you know?
For sure. But with my daughter, it's no rules. Like, I can already see myself treating her differently, and I don't like it, but this is life sometimes. I protect her to the end.
Basketball for you was a dream and a goal. Just happened in your life. I mean, the path take you there. Or, like, I mean, your friends drag you there. It was the focus of your life or just happened. And if it wasn't about basketball, which profession you think will make you happy, not what you think you could do, you know?
Yeah, for me, growing up, my friends, they just looked at me like I looked at basketball as a side hobby. Just because every time there was a computer around or some electronic gadget, I'm trying to take it apart and order the pieces off of eBay or the internet to put one piece in the TV, and now the piece works. So I bought this broken TV for $40, but it retails at $450. But the person selling it says it doesn't work. So I unscrew it, I crack it open, I find a little fuse, and I say, okay. I put it in, and the TV works. And from that day on, they were like, what the fuck? But for me, that's just how my brain always worked. I was always loving, you know, technology and cameras and things like this. But if I had to be happy, well, they call me a nerd. My friends, they call me a geek, a nerd, and they like basketball. He just does it. But a profession that would make me happy is poker.
Oh,
100%.
Really? Yeah.
Over the years, I've gotten heavy into it, and then I fall back, and then I might get heavy, and then I'm just like, I don't have because I want to study it, I want to learn this, and that, but I'm like, I can't both do this and basketball because, but poker is one of my true loves for sure.
The only sure thing is that you like adrenaline and you don't like something study. I mean, because basketball also is the same adrenaline almost every year, you know?
You know, that's funny that you say that because when I go to Vegas and I sit down at the table, I'm like this, you know, with the cards because it's different than online.
Yes.
And I'm like this and I'm like, what did he say? Okay. And you know, so for me, it's like one of those things where until I can get in an environment where I can play 24/7, and be able to get over the nerves.
But as you said, you miss the poker face probably, eh?
Bro, yeah. But that poker is what makes me happy.
So you think this will be the step after basketball?
Oh, man. I think I don't know. I want to go to the World Series of Poker at least one time to see how I do.
Perfect.
But I don't think I can continue to drive my wife crazy with long hours of doing things for myself. So I don't know. If she allows it, I will for sure give it a go.
Because we had that taste from MCK show, the question is, okay, probably in an environment like Balkans in general, Turkey, Serbia, Greece, is really hard to proceed this during a season, you know? The next day of you, some players say, I want to go to an island and only fishing. Other players want to stay on lights because this acceptance you take from the crowd, it's like a drug, you know, and you cannot miss it. Other players, we have seen players work on real estate, because have seen players do totally different things, you know, doing bars. What do you think is the thing that will follow after basketball? You think you will stay on the lights and around the game, or you just you want to go away and totally?
You know, I think I will find some like-minded people, some really good investors, and I think I would create something so big based around basketball that it'll be giving back to the world. You know, giving guys like me a second chance to have a career. You know, I'm currently involved in figuring out the details around it, but I have some beautiful things that make me tick, that make me go, okay, a breath of fresh air. I get to teach guys that think their life is over. It's never over, you know. I want to do that. I want to help the younger Greek players really have a chance to be professionals.
My point of view, this is really hard, because if you check about agencies, that an agent should do all these things, you know, to mentor, right? I don't think the kids usually having affair with sports has the quality of persons or the family to think normal. Everybody thinks they deserve more, you know, especially in a team sport, they blame other people. And all the agents you have been through and meet all these years, through players, not because I have worked with, are trying to be with more honest. The problem is that they say things to players that they want to hear and not the truth. Because if they say the truth, they skip. So this is a lot of work, you know, to have families that they don't understand, or maybe a lot of players will leave you if it will be about management. And it's really hard also a guy to come to ask for help, because in general we don't ask for help, you know, as an athlete. We know we rule the world, you know. And this will be hard, and this is like the next question of me is not only for the first steps, it's about the after basketball. Players in general, they have a stop about not seeing, probably because they think this lasts forever, about the next day, about the mental issue problems, that is a lot, especially to teams that is in Balkans, that the pressure is huge, you know. You cannot enjoy after a lose. You enjoy maximum after a win. You know, all these feelings go up and down. You think that you suggest to everybody to put like a therapy or something during the career, or for me it's crazy that the team doesn't have a person to have to talk, you know, to be more solid this season, because the season is huge. Maybe it's 15 players like you are today, or this can control a big roster or a different personality to adapt and succeed, you know. You think this should be part of the game, or a player, or a person in general?
I think by the time that guys get to this level, if they're already broken mentally, it's really hard for them not to have bad days and not to sometimes say things they don't mean, or overstep and not, you know, and feel insecure about a lot of things. Does mental health need to be at the forefront as far as like meditation or hypnotherapy or other means of stress relief? Absolutely. I think it would help players. I know players that are involved in that. I've had to go to therapy, not had, but I've gotten to go to therapy. The last 10 years of my life, my therapist is the same one that I had at Arizona State University, and we've been together for 10 years now. She knows me better than I know myself as far as what makes me tick and my mentality. I feel great after I speak with her. The thing is, with this busy lifestyle, it's often hard because she's, you know, abroad. But to answer your question, as far as the things that I've seen just in Greece, like when I went to Lamia and I took the basketball court there, and there was, you know, so many kids there, and it was the first time that they've ever even touched an Olympiacos player or spoken to one or seen one in real life. For me, that was big and that was huge, because those seeds have to start to get planted, especially in Greek basketball, so that there's another evolution or revolution of players that are coming up that can compete in the NBA or in EuroLeague. And right now that's missing. Do I have a solution? Of course. But, you know, it takes a village, you know. If you give me 15, 16-year-olds, I promise you half of them will go play professionally. I know what I'm doing from that standpoint. It's very easy. But like you said, they have family, they have this. Everybody's exposed to social media. We aren't ready for all of this attention, and it just breaks you time after time, and nobody's trying to fix anybody. So I agree with you that there should be more help across basketball, especially in Europe. But I think it starts at a much, much younger age. Like, you know, these guys are not prepared mentally to deal with what's to come. It's impossible. And I've been around a lot of different younger guys, and they need opportunities, man.
I agree, but the system here is different because in US you go through college and you have some, you know, solid basis about life and everything about to understand that, okay, sports, but it's the day after, or they teach you, they want you to be okay with school, to succeed. You know, there are lots of kids, if they have talent, they give up school, and it's very hard in general and for the next day, you know?
Yeah.
And this is hard to put them in the right base because also it will be like from families that also they don't have the base, and it's really hard to put them on track. But this is hard thing to do.
Well, maybe we need a school or something.
Yeah, but in Greece, in the end of the day, everything happens to make happy, you know, big clubs or this, and it's not for the good of the league in general. You know, this is what you said about Lamia. I experienced in Ikaria that I do a camp every year. It's like 200 kids now. The first time I went, they had not touch nobody, not even have the possibility maybe to watch on TV because have 3 channels over there. And then now this grows so big and it's really nice. And I'm saying how nice it will be all these not to be only Athens or maybe Thessaloniki, to go to other places, you know? But this is with EuroLeague program really hard to do it, or they will not force it that way, you know?
Yeah.
And this is sad, but we cannot solve the problem because if you have ideas, in the end of the day, they must agree everybody that this idea is good, and this is so hard.
Of course. So when I say that I want to retire, it's because I'm ready to give back. I see a broken infrastructure, and in my mind, I'm like, no, I think I can fix this. I can change things, and I'm ready to do that because that's what makes me happy. So everybody's shocked because they're like, wow, the player is choosing to be happy. He doesn't want to chase this and that. It's a conundrum. I'm often torn. But when I make my mind up to do something, it often stays there. So after talking to my wife, I'm like, okay, I'll come back and play because I can, but I'm really ready. I'm really ready to start giving back to the human race, to society. I'm just so ready to, and I'm just like, for me to do that, I have to be so hands-on, but I also need other resources. So my wife is like, okay, try this, and if you don't want to do it, then, say what, then you stop. But you have too much left to give to walk away like this, and you're an inspiration to so many people. So, you can find a way to do both, so I will try.
I hope I will be part of the next project because I have a lot of things to give also,
Of course.
So, have in your mind. I'm proud of you in general and to meet you and the point of view you have because I really see it. All these 20 years I was part of basketball. Hope to help with you the next generation, totally. Thanks for coming 100%, and we need more Shaquielle McKissic in general in the game and in Greece. Hope the next day after basketball to be in Greece, so to don't have the pressure also can enjoy more.
They're gonna think I'm paying you to say this.
No.
The moment that I met you, I say, yeah, this is my guy. I like this guy.
The thing I want to say maximum that I have ever a few experienced is I'm really proud the thing you have succeeded with your family and wife, because all my experience about athletes is the more life make them to have families and wives to make their everyday easier, or if they travel to have somebody to take care of them and then they destroy everything. And the thing that you are happily create a team and grow up together is amazing, and I'm maximum jealous, and congratulations to you and
Thank
Barry.
you, brother. Thank you. Thank you for those kind words, of course. You know that you're my guy. I appreciate, reaching out to me so I can do this. You know that I don't have any problem So I hope we can do many more of these in the future.
Let's go.
And maybe we start a podcast.
I'm ready. Because the community of Europe and maybe ESPN, you know, need more of these, you know.
No, for sure. We'll see what the future holds.
I will wear this white hair they have in England, I think, in the courtrooms, you know.
Yeah.
And I need the 20 minutes to be the judge and to leave, you know.
Bro.
Only truth. Perfect. Thanks, Maximum. Ooh.